Rev up your engine! Here's an interesting one. This is a Honda 2011 Crosstour. Now, strangely enough, these Crosstours were made from 2009 to 2015, but now in 2021, Honda's bringing back the Crosstour. Disappearing and reappearing Crosstour. Now, this thing shares tons of stuff with the Honda Accord. Originally, they're going to call it the Honda Accord Crosstour, and then they decided to call it a Crosstour. But this particular one is the base model. It's just front-wheel drive. The rear wheels just spin. There's no drive on the rear wheels. So this particular model gets 1 mile a gallon better gas mileage than if it was all-wheel drive, which is a little bit less efficient. But a lot of people up north, they want an all-wheel drive. They don't care about the 1 mile a gallon difference, and they pay extra for the all-wheel drive version. Now, since it shares a bunch with the Honda Accord, we'll look under the hood. The old hood strut's worn out, so that never fails. It's got the 3.9 VTEC, same engine the Honda Accord use. Puts out 271 horsepower. This baby's got a lot of zip to it, and they're pretty reliable Honda V6 engines. But as far as I'm concerned, Honda kind of went cheap on this. Even though this is 2011, still got a rubber timing belt on it. Now, Honda switched their 4-cylinder engines to timing chains long before that, but for some reason they kept the timing belts on their V6 engines. The newer ones have changed too, but this baby has a rubber timing belt and it is an interference engine. So as they age, you gotta worry. Are you gonna spend a bunch of money changing out the timing belt, the water pump, the pulleys? Are you gonna gamble that that belt might snap, pistons will hit the valve, and then you can say goodbye car or spend multiple thousands of dollars rebuilding the engine? Here, Honda was a little bit late coming out of the gate, still having a rubber timing belt on this thing. Now, the engine itself is made to a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, granted, Honda has had problems and they had a recall, but the recall stops at 2010, and this is a 2011. I haven't seen any of these 2011s go up. I've seen the 2010s. Not the 2011s. Honda isn't a stupid company. They have very good engineers. They found the flaws. The newer ones don't have those flaws. They learned from their mistakes. And the fix in the earlier model 5-speed automatic transmissions was a software change to put less strain on the shaft that could have problems inside. So it wasn't like the things just fell apart. But the new ones, they don't have that problem. This particular one doesn't have any transmission problems. Let's check inside. Got a nice interior, black and silver, tons of space in the back. This baby has space. Big people are comfortable in the back of this car. Start her up. Typical Honda, starts right up, and it's got 642 miles, a little over 100,000. So let's take it for a spin. And it's an older car, so it doesn't have the backup camera on it. As you can see, just like a Honda Accord, it's a relatively quiet driving vehicle. Got nice handling characteristics. And we'll give it a little bit of gas. Yeah, they go like stink. Still shifts pretty good. And it takes the bumps good even with 100,000 miles. All in all, it's a pretty sweet handling vehicle. And it is a Crosstour after all. So it's a crossover vehicle. It's got a lot of space, a little bit higher off the ground. Got a heck of a lot of room in the back seat. We check out the trunk. Big old trunk. And you can flip the seats down, make it even bigger. A pretty well-designed and well-built vehicle. So why, oh why, did they stop making them? And then start again in 2021? These crossovers, it's a highly, highly competitive market. Toyota had the same problem with their Venza. Nothing wrong with the vehicles. They stopped making them. It's such a competitive market. Take this for example. The Subaru crossover was much cheaper than this and came with all-wheel drive standard. If you wanted all-wheel drive on this thing, you had to pay thousands more. And in this highly competitive marketplace, Honda just thought, we're not selling enough of them. We won't make them anymore. But then, I guess they started scratching their heads and decided, we really need this Crosstour. It's a crossover vehicle. I gotta say, all my customers with them, they've been happy, they're not complaining, they love the cars. So in 2021, Honda's bringing back the Crosstour. It's not like they had any real problems, just like the Toyota Venza. Didn't really have any problems. It was more a marketing problem that they saw. That maybe wasn't such a problem after all. And speaking of the Toyota Venza, its competitor, they're making them again in 2021. So, I don't know. Maybe they think alike. Maybe they got together. I don't know. Kind of interesting. Two very similar vehicles. People didn't have any particular problems with them, but they stopped making them, and then 2021, each company brought the same thing back, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because take the American car market. American manufacturers, generally, they get rid of a model because it had all kinds of problems. It was a piece of crap. They left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Blech. So they don't bring the names back because the vehicles were clunkers, and the people that did have them said, I'd never buy another one of those things. With these, it was the exact opposite. People didn't complain about the cars. They just thought they weren't selling enough of them, but then decided, oh, let's give it another try years later. Now, with the virus epidemic and all that, everything's being pushed further forwards, but from what I can decipher, that these base model Crosstours are going to start around $30,000, and people have said maybe $33,000 for the Toyota Venza. Now, no one knows yet. They're not out yet, so we gotta wait till time shows what the pricing is going to be. But in that price range, it is very competitive. So a few thousand here or there, that can make or break a model. If there was a $3,000 price difference, that could dramatically increase the sales of the Hondas and lower the sales of the Toyota, because they're very similar in many aspects. And people are going to say, well, Hondas, they're good. Toyotas, they're good. Well, the Honda costs $3,000 less. A lot of people will go out and buy the car that costs $3,000 less. We go back to this Crosstour here. Thing's 9 years old. Doesn't burn oil. Transmission shifts good. Passed a lot of tests of time. 9 years, over 100,000 miles in it. It's a well-made vehicle. Still rides quite well. Stops quite well. Handles like a dream. So personally, I just find it strange that Honda decided they weren't going to make them and then decided to make them again. If I were them, I would have continued to make them. If I made something that worked good, I wouldn't stop making it. People like it. But at any rate, now you know the truth about the Honda Crosstour. And here's some bonus questions and answers. James Self says, Scotty, are one gas brand better than others? The thing is, they all, theoretically, have different additives that they put in. But by law, at least in the United States, they have to have certain minimum standards. And if you don't know it, most areas only have one major refiners. The biggest refiner in the world, as far as I know, of gasoline is Shell. So generally, like around here, the Shell guys refine a lot of stuff. And they sell it to Exxon, they sell it to Mobil, they sell it to different companies. Then they are supposed to add their own additives and their own color dye, so it's a different color, that's just a dye. Gasoline nominally would be clear, but they had a dye to make them distinguishable from each other. So the base gasoline you're buying, 99.something% of it, is all made at one place anyways by one company, and then sold to the other company. So there really isn't all that much difference between them. But they'll say, you know, we got more of this, we got this, but ask them, how much do you have? They'll never tell you. They won't even tell me. I say, well, how much cleaner do you have? Well, we don't want to have an additive war, they tell me. So we're not going to tell you what exact additives. And oh, it's our trade secret. So basically, you buy gasoline at a regular station, it's all the same stuff. Fox said, why did Pontiac stop making cars? Well, the actual Pontiac company stopped making cars a long time ago. General Motors bought them out a long time ago. So basically, they were just GM vehicles being made in GM plants. And then they just decided we're going to stop selling Pontiacs because the sales are down and the quality control was down. I mean, I find it hilarious that like the last big push they had was when they were using Matt Dillon, the Hollywood movie star, pushing their cars. And soon after, they stopped making them. So I guess old Matt was kind of bad luck to them, but I'm sure they paid him millions to push the things. That's just a marketing thing. They were just GM cars anyways, which the quality wasn't that good of anyways. You'd have to go back decades and decades when there was an actual Pontiac company that was making the things. The Dreamer says, Scotty, greetings from Toronto. I got an 09 Camry V6, close to 400,000 kilometers, runs great. How do I make it to 1,000,000 kilometers? It's made in Kentucky. See, that shows you. The ones made in Kentucky are still well made too. Look at the mileage that has on it. Keep doing whatever you're doing. You're doing a good job, you know? And you're only talking 1,000,000 kilometers, so that's a little over 500,000 miles, and I've personally had customers here in Texas have over 500,000 miles on those things. The only thing you want to worry about is don't let the road salt rot it from when they have to throw the road salt on. I went to York University in Toronto. I know they salt the roads there in the winter, so you might want to rinse it off a lot in the winter if you can find heated car washes indoors so you can keep rinsing it off and not let the salt build up and corrode stuff. That's the main thing that you're going to have a problem with there. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.